There's a reason why some men command silence when they walk into a room, and others spend their lives trying to be noticed. There's a reason why some men are remembered, even after they leave, while others are forgotten the moment they turn their back. Attraction isn't luck, it's psychology. Women don't fall for men because they're kind or charming. They fall for men who cannot be emotionally controlled. The kind of man who speaks less, observes more, and moves with quiet confidence. But most men destroy their power without realizing it. They commit small, invisible mistakes that slowly drain their dominance, and women can feel it instantly. In this video, we'll uncover the top 5 mistakes that make you look weak to women through the cold, sharp eyes of Niccolò Machiavelli, the philosopher who understood power better than anyone who ever lived. Welcome to MindVelli, where forbidden wisdom meets the dark psychology of attraction. Number 1. Seeking validation more than respect. The first mistake is craving validation more than respect. When a man seeks approval, he exposes his weakness. He shows that his emotional balance depends on how someone else sees him. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men are driven by 2 principal impulses, love and fear. The man who seeks love loses fear and therefore loses power." When you chase validation by texting too often, over-explaining, or needing reassurance, you're silently telling her, "You have control over how I feel." A Machiavellian man never gives that power away. He knows that respect is earned through restraint. He remains calm, detached, mysterious. And because his emotions are under his command, a woman feels compelled to chase the very attention he withholds. Remember, women are drawn to power, not permission. Number 2. Explaining yourself too much. The second mistake is over-explaining. When you constantly justify your actions, defend your choices, or explain your motives, you're showing insecurity disguised as honesty. Machiavelli taught that appearances often matter more than truth. A ruler who looks strong is strong because perception is power. In attraction, the same law applies. When you explain too much, you reveal too much. The Machiavellian man never chases understanding. He lets his silence create tension. Because silence breeds curiosity, and curiosity breeds attraction. Let her wonder what you meant. Let her question why you didn't reply. Let her feel the uncertainty of your mystery. That's how influence begins. Number 3. Being emotionally predictable. Predictability is comfort. Comfort is the enemy of attraction. When a woman can read you like an open book, she stops being intrigued by your story. Machiavelli said, "A wise ruler must learn how not to be good, and use this knowledge as necessity requires." Meaning, to hold power, you must sometimes be unpredictable, even unsettling. One day you're warm, teasing, playful. The next, focused, distant, lost in your own world. Not to manipulate, but to remind her that your world doesn't orbit hers. Women are drawn to a mind who is emotionally independent, the one who can be present without being attached, loving without being desperate, and calm when others would react. Be unpredictable, not with games, but with growth. Let her never know which version of your strength she'll meet next. Number 4. Being too available. The fourth mistake is dangerous because it feels like the right thing to do. You care, you're available, you show effort. But in reality, you're making your presence cheap. Machiavelli warned, men esteem lightly what they can acquire easily. The same truth applies in attraction. What's always available loses its value. When you answer instantly, always say yes, and revolve your time around her, you teach her that you are abundant, not in power, but in availability. And what's abundant is never respected. A Machiavellian man creates scarcity, not out of arrogance, but discipline. He values his time like currency and gives his presence only to those who've earned it. When your attention becomes rare, your energy becomes sacred. And women always value what feels sacred. Number 5. Confusing niceness with strength. The final mistake is dangerous. Many men believe that the more gentle, understanding, and forgiving they are, the more a woman will love them. But Machiavelli shattered this illusion centuries ago. He wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than to be loved, if you cannot be both." Fear doesn't mean cruelty. It means presence, a kind of unshakable authority that commands respect. Niceness without boundaries is submission. Real strength is silent. It says no when necessary, walks away when disrespected, and never begs to be chosen. The man who fears losing her has already lost her. But the man who fears losing himself becomes unforgettable. Because women don't crave the nice guy, they crave the undeniably grounded man. The man whose power comes not from pleasing others, but from mastering himself. Machiavelli never wrote about relationships, yet his words expose the eternal laws of attraction. The moment you act from weakness, you give her power. The moment you master your emotions, you take it back. Women follow strength, not sympathy. Desire the man who can lead himself, not the one who's led by his emotions. This is your reminder. Stop explaining, stop chasing, stop proving, and start becoming the kind of man who moves in silence, because silence commands respect. This is MindVelli, where forbidden wisdom meets modern psychology, and where men learn the art of emotional dominance.